Hello, and welcome back to episode 32 of Valley of the Sun, Sunday Scaries. I'm your host, as always, Sean Nickel, coming at you from the beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. On today's episode, I have a friend from college. Her name is Anna Salvaggio. When I was in college, I actually ran for student government as the president, and I won, and Anna was actually my vice president. And so we got to work very closely together, and we were in a ton of student organizations together, like orientation, student government. My senior year when I was in Greek life, I'm even repping my Fiji boys today, and Anna was in a sorority as well, and so we worked closely together for a very long time. And obviously, after college, we both went our different ways. And it just so happened that the other day I saw a Instagram story from her where I could clearly tell she was going through a quarter life crisis just by some of the words that she was using. I reached out to her. I said it'd be amazing to have you on the podcast. She agreed, and here we are. So without further ado, I'm bring out Anna to tell her story, and I'll let her take it from here. I have Anna Salvaggio on the horn right now on the old podcast. Super excited to get to chat with her. We were best friends in college. We worked really closely there. She was actually my vice president when I was the president of the university there. People forget that I was the president. I try to remind them as much as I possibly can. But I want to turn it over to you, Anna, because you've been doing some really cool things since college, and I want to kind of see what your journey has been since you graduated.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on. That's so funny that you say that, because I was kind of telling people about I was doing this, and I almost forgot that, you were the president. I was that together. That was huge. And that was such a great experience. It was so much fun. It was one of the things that got me my first job, because my first job, I was working with my sorority, Alpha Zeta Delta.
Oh, nice.
And it was as a leadership coach. And so I was like the Midwest and Northeast person, and I went to 42 colleges in 1 year.
42?
Training. Mm-hmm. It was so cool. It was mostly strengths quest, all about that. It was one-on-ones. It was as a group. It was personality assessments, like leadership development as a whole chapter, as an executive board individual. So it was really cool. It was so fulfilling. I was saying it was my dream job because I really loved the traveling aspect, the development aspect, meeting people. All the conversations were really fulfilling.
And it's like you never left college. Like you just went from college to still do college. Like that's the dream.
Extended college for sure. And you knew I was obsessed with the sorority life.
You love college.
Yeah. I was all about it. Yeah. I would have stayed like 15 more years.
If they let you.
Yeah. And that's funny because I really probably should have gone into higher ed, because I would literally love my life so much. But afterwards, it was okay, that was fun, but I was kind of lonely, traveling all by yourself.
That's tough.
It was a lot. It was going somewhere new every week. I was taking public transportation. I was in New York, DC, Philly. I took all the metros. I took all the trains. I drove across from Philadelphia all the way to Pittsburgh once.
You're a public transit expert.
Oh, absolutely. And so also a lot of street smarts came from this job, because I was kind of a little ditzy in college, kind of.
No, you? No way.
Yeah. So it definitely taught, grow up a little bit and look out for yourself, be a little smarter and figure things out. So that was really cool. And then it was all right, that was kind of lonely, but it was still cool. What can I do from here? And so my family really wanted me to come home, because they were like, you've been gone for a whole year, and you've been gone 4 years for college, 5 years away from home. You got to come back. And at the time I was single too. So they're like, you're 23, you got to get married soon. Okay, guys, chill out. But yeah, so I came home, and the first job I applied for was the staffing agency. I did that for a year. Hated my life. It was so stressful.
What were you doing specifically there? What was your focus on? Were you just staffing people?
Yep, I was staffing in manufacturing, production facilities. It just wasn't a good.
Did you go to school for any sort of recruiting or anything? Or you were just hey, I was a recruiter. I was a great recruiter for my sorority. I'll just recruit for other companies. Is that kind of your thought? Okay.
I studied sales and marketing. And so Western sales program is one of the best. And so their corporate recruiters really search for people from Western in that degree specifically. And it is a great fit for a lot of people. A lot of people have great success there, because there's so many different avenues and career paths and stuff that you can take. But it just wasn't for me. I was working like a dog. I was working really hard. It wasn't a lot of fun. But I did love the people there. And so that was really hard to leave that job. But being 24, I was it wasn't it. I spent a year there. Let me find something else. So I kind of resigned without having anything lined up.
I love it.
The family was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm living at home. It's fine.
You said you wanted me back. Here I am full time.
Here I am. And so I had 2 months off living at home, doing nothing, not working, but it was fun. It was a great time. It was cool. A nice little vacation. And then got LinkedIn recruited to start this new program. And it was kind of sold as like a rotational management training program. It's for this rapidly growing mortgage company. You know, we need lots of great people. And so if you come into this, you rotate through the company, we'll help you find like what position you want.
It sounds sweet. I mean, that sounds cool.
Sounded so cool, especially not really knowing what I wanted to do at that point. I was like, I have a business degree, but not sure where to go from here. That sounds awesome. So it really was awesome because the whole year you spent rotating through the company, at that point, the company only had like 1,500 people. So it was still pretty tight knit and close. And there was like 16 departments that I went through. So it was like 3 or 4 or 5 weeks in each department. And so you meet a ton of people, you learn all about the process, because that's like what our company sells. Our process is awesome. Like people love our speed, our technology, our process. Like that's what it's all about. So the more you can learn about that, then you can be a great fit in like a leadership position down the line, because you understand mortgages and the process.
Where all the pieces are.
And like, I think the networking was probably the biggest piece, because you meet so many people. And so like after the year, I got placed in a position to be in leadership and run a whole like division. Basically, it was only 8 people who grew to like 25 in like a year. It was insane. Been with the company, it's 4 years like this week.
Wow, nice.
5 positions, so just kind of all over. Yeah.
And here you are getting married next year, hopefully, pending crazy pandemics and stuff like that.
Doing it anyway. I'm walking down that aisle.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations there. So you've been up to a lot, which is cool. And you get to see a lot of different perspectives in terms of business and stuff like that. The reason that I reached out to you is because I saw an Instagram post from you, and I have like this sense now of like when people are going through the quarter life crisis, like I have a sense now. And so I was thinking a lot about just you and our relationship that when we had in college, and I just know you as a person. So I'm gonna see if I can peg you here. Okay. So I feel like you were a very successful person in college, just like me. We were very driven. We were like involved in everything. We climbed to the top of everything we possibly could, because that's just who we were, right? And we graduate and we find a role, or we think it was a career, right? And we start growing up that ladder too. And because we're who we are, we naturally keep going up and up and up. And from the outside looking in, everybody thinks you're successful, you're living the life, things are great. I just have a feeling that in your own head, you are just not, there's a piece that is missing, whether it's fulfillment or purpose. And it's just, I don't know what it is, but it's hard for people to explain unless they're currently living it. And so am I right? Is that where your head's at? Like, I'm going off of one Instagram post that I saw of yours.
Yeah, it's so true. So the Instagram post, I think, said like, do you ever feel like you're just stuck and like you're not doing what you're meant to do, or you just don't have the purpose that you're looking for? And that's totally exactly true, because I just feel like, so we have similar backgrounds too. Like we were in sports from a really young age. Like I was in dance at the same dance studio with the same people from like kindergarten all the way to senior year. So it was like I had this one hobby, this one avenue, that I also just climbed the ladder in the same way. You become a leader, you become a captain, you become whatever it is. And so you have that same structure, and you're like seeing it and you're feeling it, and you just keep that going. But then you like start this job, and it's like, that's kind of what it is, you know? And even though it's going well and you're crushing it and things are great, it's still like, but why am I doing this? Like, what is the point? It's just not there, and I just don't feel it. And I think like I've been reflecting a lot on what, you know, jobs or positions or hobbies I've had that have been the most fulfilling. And it's like, I feel like I'm missing like that community, like those people. You know, you grow up and it's like you have this community of people that you're with, and then you go to college and it's this whole new community, and you're all in it together, and it's this like journey that you're going through, right? And then you go to this company and it's like, you know, they try to make it a community and they try to make it about the culture and the people and who it is, but when it's like rapidly growing and rapidly expanding, it's like fizzles, and there's just so much going on, you know what I mean? So, and
that just happens, and that's happens to every big company. Like, because everyone at every company that I've ever heard or talked to, they always were like, well, this is how it used to be. It used to be so good. And that's what everyone always says. And I mean, you're always looking through rose colored glasses for sure.
Yeah.
But you are right where like you thrive when it's that small, tight knit community versus here I am in this huge bureaucracy almost, and there's hundreds and, you know, sometimes thousands of people. And, you know, you can make a bigger community, but, you know, it's just not fulfillment. So,
you know, we were in student government. That was one. Orientation. That was another. The sorority, like the fraternity life. Those are just these huge, like hardcore, like tight knit communities that you build these like awesome relationships and like this purpose and passion with, right? And you're doing it together, and like they're calling on you or me to be the leader and like guide us towards like what we're trying to accomplish here. We have a very clear mission, and it's like, all right, I know how to absolutely execute and crush this. You know what I mean? And I did that in a lot of things. I mean, orientation was one of the best summers of my life, and then the sorority, it was like I started all these philanthropy events and started the very first, whatever, Z-Man or whatever.
Right.
Like it's that kind of really cool, like mission, purpose, goal thing with that group, like that tight-knit community. And I just feel like, maybe I'm kind of missing that. I'm missing like that tight team of people. Like who's looking out for me? Like who's in my corner? Who's my people? And so I'm like, with COVID and everything, like that was a whole other level because now everyone's going home, and so there's just a huge shift.
Now you now your community is like it's still like your parents and your family. Like it's like just you.
Me and my fiance, like, hey man, like how's it going? Want to have lunch together today? All right. Let's go for a walk. Okay, cool. Like, yeah. And then it's like my mom, like, why aren't you coming to see me? I'm like, well, there's a global pandemic going on. And she's like, we have to go for 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm not supposed to leave the house. Like, I don't understand. Like, what? I've been calling you. Like, it's so not good.
I mean, and then when I saw that post, I was like, this is somebody who I can have on, who I love, and I know that they'll bring some good value for sure. So it's an easy segue for me. You've obviously seen the podcast I've been putting out. You've seen all the posts. We've talked about it a little bit on the side here and there. So the quarter life crisis, what's your definition of it? What are your thoughts on it? Just take it away.
Yeah, you've been killing it. I love the people that you've had on. I mean, some of my favorite people ever. A lot of really valuable information. So I appreciate everything you're bringing and like, presenting to everybody. So I've been like trying to think and take some notes and like really, think about what it is for me. And I do think it has a lot to do with like easy comparisons too. So like everyone's on their own journey. It's so easy to say like, I'm doing my thing, you're doing yours. But at the end of the day, we're all like comparing ourselves to each other so much. And I think that can be really toxic, right? We're all on social media. Like I'm one that I have my phone glued to my hand. I'm really lucky to have really good friends that like bring me down to earth a little bit. Like, I get sucked up into like, oh, this person's doing this or this person's doing that. Or like, I need to do something different. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not working out enough, whatever it may be. And then you get with your friends and they're like, oh, I've been struggling with stress. I've been having so much anxiety through this. And like, oh, I've been criticizing myself so much. And so I'm like, oh my God, me too. And when you actually meet the person and have the conversations, we're all on the same page. But like, we're all just in this own like kind of bubble, especially right now. It's like craziness is happening. Like, how do I focus and like figure out what to do next? And nobody really knows like how to control the situation because you can't. So you really have to like focus on controlling what you can control and not, thinking that everyone else is having such an easy time with it because nobody is. And nobody's, everyone's in a different spot and everyone's trying to figure it out for themselves. So I think it's a lot of that. Like you have to market yourself and present yourself a certain way, which I can do, but I just don't like it because it feels like inauthentic.
Right. Not genuine.
Completely. Yeah. And then another thing for me with the quarter life crisis is like right now in adulthood, I feel like people are telling me to be a master of one thing, like focus on one thing, go down that one path, like figure out what you're good at and do it. And I've always kind of been more of a jack of all trades. Like I just like doing a lot of things and having a lot of passions, and having a lot of skills. And people are telling me that I can't get as far, I can't be as successful if I have all these different paths that I like,
And I think so. And that's a good thing to just kind of poke in on real quick, because I think that was probably true though, 15, 20, 30 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like before the internet came along and really just blew up how you could communicate and what you could do. I feel like people were like, you have to have one thing and just go after it. But now, like with the power of internet, you can make 4 websites, have 4 different businesses and do whatever you wanted to. Like the last week I had my friend Tim Hewer on, and he was talking to someone who was like offended because a question that was always asked of children is, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it only allows the child to answer with one thing. And that's how people have thought for so long. But in reality, it's like, you can be like an artist and a banker and a paint. You can be all this stuff. And now, but like, and it's accepted now where it's like, you'll see anybody these days are like, hey, I do these 3 things. It's no longer like, hey, I'm a banker, it's like, I'm a banker, but I also do this. So it's like, that is tough when people are constantly telling you have to pick one thing and specialize in it. Cause then you kind of lose passion in that one thing. What are you going to do after then? Like after that?
And that's me too. So like as a kid, I said I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be an architect. I wanted to like be a mom. Like I wanted to be a dog walker. Like I wanted every single job under the sun. And so like now I'm an adult and I totally do want to be like a banker and like help people with personal finance, but also like plan people's weddings and like birthday parties, and like do whatever, like also walk people's dogs, like whatever you need, like I'll do it. You know what I mean? So I'm like kind of thinking like, how do I touch into all those things? Because I feel like I like having that flexibility. I loved in college when you could have your studies that you were focused on, you know, you went to class and everything, but you could have 3 or 4 different jobs or clubs or projects or whatever. I love that. I thrived in that. That's what I need to get back to, right? I need to get back to where I can have all those different, like my tentacles and different things, and feel that like excitement and joy and everything from all those different avenues. Like I need to get back to that.
So how do you get back to that? If you're someone out there that's feeling the same way, like what do we do? Like, what do we do? Like, I don't know.
Well, I think like you do have to find, like we were mentioning before, find something that you can do maybe from home, or find something that you can do in a corporate environment that allows you to still have a really great work-life balance and be able to do other things too. Like I need a schedule that allows me to do 30 to 40 hours a week, not 50, 60, 70, because I really like to do other things too. And like COVID really changed my mind on a lot of things. Like I can work from home. I can still be very productive in a
Did you ever think do you like working from home?
I did. I really did like it.
Did you ever think you would like it?
No. Oh no.
I was the same way. I was like, there's no way, even if you let me work from home, that I would work from home. I was like, I won't do it.
I need the people. I need the relationship.
Yes. I was a week and a half in. I was like, this is incredible. Like this is incredible. I'm wearing pajamas like this is amazing.
Yeah. Or okay, so the first month I was like panic mode and I was like drinking every day and like not getting rest. But then like the next month I was getting up early and like exercising and then making myself breakfast, and then I would sign in and do some work and like have great conversations. And then at lunch I would make myself something and then go for another walk and then like put on a TV show, get back to work. Like I had all this awesome stuff going on. I'm like, I've been missing this. Like I haven't been able to, like, because I got up, I got ready, I went to work.
And you drove, and there's a commute. Yeah.
And that was it. And it was like working at home, I had so much more opportunity to do fun things.
That's so funny. I was the same way.
I was in a training and I was drawing and I was like doing things with like friggin' markers and grants. Like that was fun for me. And I like was like, dang, I can't do that at work because I have to be like focused and I can't be doing anything else on my desk. You know, and even me, like with my phone glued to my hand in a corporate environment, they don't want you on your phone. They don't want you looking on your phone, talking to people, doing anything. And like for me working from home, I still got all my work done and could like answer my grandma's call real quick, or like text my dad back, or like do whatever I had to, or like my friend sent me something. Okay, girl, like I could do everything and not feel any sort of guilt or anything because I still got everything done that I wanted to and more. So I was like, dang, this is really awesome that I can have all that at the same time.
That's the craziest thing that came out of the whole COVID thing for me was I really thought, and I went, man, I've been with the company for 7 years now. And I went up until COVID. I had worked 1 day from home, and it was a half day because I had to do like a doctor's appointment. And I was like, I never thought, I was like, I will not be the person that works from home. Like I'll be the last one in this office until the office shuts down. And now I'm like, I might never go back I might never do it. Like, and maybe it's because our generation grew up, and maybe the generation after us might be a little bit even better at this, but we kind of grew up with like FaceTime and Skype and stuff like that. So like we're used to communicating like this, and the people before us were like, they never had that opportunity. So maybe it's part of that where I'm like, I'm not losing any connection with my friends or family because I'm in every group chat and like all. So it's like, it's weird, but you're right. The amount of stuff that I accomplish every single day is so much more now that I work from home.
Yeah. And I think I just like the flexibility, and like, then I can actually still do so much. And yeah, I love it. The thing I hate too about kind of older generations telling us like, you have to make sacrifices to be happy. You have to give up things.
You don't.
Sorry, like you gotta. But then I don't like when people say you can have it all, because I think that's kind of fake too.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you have to have it all. I don't think you have to have this amazing career and this house and this job and this kids and everything. Like it's okay to not have it all. Like you can totally be happy with just like having a couple. You know what I mean? But then you also don't have to sacrifice happipiness to be successful, which I feel like my parents have said. You can't have fun with your friends, and you can't go away for the weekend because you can't miss work. And like,
it's crazy. It's just like, a crazy change. I don't know when it started, when it happened, but yeah, it's like a crazy shift in mindset of like, now what's crazy too. And you being around, cause I think your company you have a more younger demographic of people that work there, right? So same as me, right? Now it's at the point where people are like, well, we actually don't even want to work or make money. We'd rather just have this day off. And you're like, well, what do you mean? Like, we're going to do some sale where like, we're going to get paid double. They're like, I I'd rather go to the lake.
I'd
And so
rather
it's
have
like,
a PTO day. Like,
yeah,
I'd rather have 4 hours off.
yeah. And so it's crazy to think too. I'm like, because like I'm on the tail end of, oh, a double commission day. Okay, I'll work my butt off. And then some people are like, yeah, it's whatever. I'll just,
Yeah,
I'll, I'll
for
just,
sure.
I'll
And
just
I could
take the
see
day
both
off.
sides too. Like I could see like, hey, if you work on Saturday, we'll give you double time. It's like, okay, I'm probably gonna do that. But then another time where they were like, if you do this, we'll give you 4 PTO hours. I was like, oh, I'd much rather do that. And it's like, but I
Crazy.
can see both, and it's kind of this weird thing. Yeah, for sure.
So let's transition here. Okay. So you have the ability to go back in time and talk to yourself graduating college. What are some things you would tell Anna? What are some things you wish you, and I don't live in a world where like I regret anything. So I don't think you need to be like, oh, I regret my life. Cause like it wound up where you're at right now. You're very successful and you're engaged and married. So like you're doing okay. But what are some things you wish you would have known? Or what are some things you wish you could tell yourself?
Well, so I do kind of wish I would say like stay in your own lane and focus on yourself. I do think it's like very important not to think about like what everybody else is doing or who went to grad school or who went to whatever and did something different. Like everyone just has a different journey. And I feel like I'm pretty confident in myself. I'm happy with myself and my life and everything. But I do say, oh, she went to pharmacy school. Like, why didn't I do that? Or like she went to, I don't know, whatever program and like she really likes it. Maybe I should have done that. And it's like you don't have to do what everyone else is doing. You can do whatever you want to do, start there. And then also in college too, I think it was like I did love being involved in so much, and it was I do have a couple of regrets of like not maybe being more invested in just one thing and like maybe taking it to a little higher of a level. But at the same time, I had so many opportunities, like keep your community, like I said, like really find the people that are going to support you and be there to be a great support system. So they got to be positive. They got to have the best interest for you in mind. They have to support like your goals and ambitions, and then just continue to lift you up. Because what I'm learning in adult life is like if things are just going to be hard, it just is that way. Like some things are just going to be thrown at you that you're just going to have to deal with. No matter what you do, it's out of your control.
COVID-19, global pandemic.
19. Yeah. And then my dad is just kind of like, yay, this is not going to be the first obstacle that's going to come in your way. You could do everything right and you're going to have another obstacle. So like, don't think that everything has to be perfect all the time. Like things are just going to be hard sometimes. You just got to deal with it. Like I always thought like, I'm going to be so good. I'm never going to have a hardship and I'm never going to be unhappy. That's unrealistic. Like
because you think early on you have control. Like you think like, well, I'll just work harder than everybody else, or I'll do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so you think
Well,
that
I did all this already
naive.
in high school, and high school was so easy and everything was perfect. So like, I'll just keep doing that. Or even college, like it was damn near perfect. I had a great experience. I'll just keep doing that. When you get into the real world, it's like pretty different and it's not as much structure. I also miss that too, of like, this is what school is and these are the grades and this is how it's graded and this is what you have to do. And
I miss that too, where it's like, hey, here, it's very clear cut. If you do this, this, and this, you will get an A. And I'm like, I love this. Give me a check. I'm good. And then you get to life. You're like, hey, you could do this, this, and this, and you'll be a disaster anyway. Like it doesn't matter.
I was a teacher's pet because I loved school and I loved the syllabus. And I loved a good, like, this is what we're going to do. It's like, yeah, sign me up. And like now in the real world, it's not really like that. And that's why I think I liked sales, because in sales, it is kind of like do this, this, and this, and be there for your people. And you're going to see success. That's why I do like sales. And then it's a lot of your own control too, which I liked, because I like control, obviously. And
right.
To be a theme is like focusing on what you can do to, excel. So yeah, don't try to be perfect. Know that everyone's going through like the same crap and that you're going to have hard times, and like just stay focused and stay happy and stay positive and find people who are positive people. I think really like our company does preach a lot that negativity is like a cancer. And I've seen that so much, like through everything, through work, through COVID, like you still have to try to be as positive as you can. Like stuff is going to suck, stuff is going to be hard, but like you got to think the positive things. You got to feed yourself positive things. You can't, like, I don't watch the news anymore. I can't do it. I'm not into it. And I used to be super interested in politics. I actually used to think I wanted to go into that too when I was in high school. I can't, I just can't watch it. I don't want the negativity. I don't want the extreme like division.
Both sides. Yeah, I agree.
And I just rather not. So I just focus on positive things, positive content, like your videos and good music and great TV shows and like good movies or documentaries. Like I'm reading books, like anything that's positive that aligns with like what I want. That's what I want to focus on. I don't want all the extra crap.
So before we get to the last question, where can we engage with you? What social, you said your phone's glued to your hands. What socials, we'll put them down at the bottom in case people have questions for you. Where do you interact with the most?
I'm on LinkedIn every day because I'm always just looking at what people are posting, and being in mortgages, like you just kind of see what people are saying, what's going on, and you follow the market and stuff like that. So LinkedIn for sure. And Instagram, I love Instagram. That's more personal and more fun. And Facebook too. That's about it.
Nice. Cool. We'll put them down here. You'd be surprised. People get questions not every now and then. So I think there's a lot of people that might be in the same spot as you, where the super involved person in college and like, what do you do post college? So my last question is this, okay? If like, let's start thinking long term for Anna. What would be like your dream career, your dream company? Like what would it look like? Like what would you be doing? Like have you given any thought to kind of what you'd want to do for the rest of your life? Like focus around X?
I've thought a lot about it and trying to like combine everything that I've done, or like how can I get back to like what I've done in the past. And I have kind of been thinking of maybe working for myself, doing something entrepreneurial, or even helping people to like build a business in a smaller community. So I really like when it's 5 or 10 or 15 or even 30 people, you're really trying to build something. I really like those like constructive environments when it's like, what can we build together? Like I've always thrived when it's like starting from the bottom,
Yeah.
kind of like what is our vision and how do we go after it? Like I'd really like to be a part of that. So like that's what I like in our sales roles, is like helping new companies to grow or to develop or to go into like the mortgage space as their own lender and or whatever, or their own broker or something like that. But doing it more in a community aspect too. So I feel like when you have the knowledge of personal finance or even mortgage loans or just lending in general, like it can be a huge impact on people and on a community, because really you are like building a community. And so I would love to do that, where it's like more reaching out to people and individuals and schools or companies, whoever it is, and like giving them more information and knowledge on personal finance and mortgage lending. Like that would be something that would be really cool.
Well, we're excited. Hopefully have you on down the road, and we'll see the journey of Anna and where she goes and what she's doing. But I wanted to personally thank you for coming on here and responding to my Instagram my Instagram comment and getting you on. But we appreciate having you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate, your friendship and your knowledge and just sharing everything that you're doing. So if there's ever anything you need, just let me know.
I'll hit you up. Don't you worry. Thank you. Thank you again, Anna. I think the biggest thing that I take away is some people just need that tight-knit, community around them. And a lot of the organizations that we've been in, they're very small organizations that are growing and are kind of in that startup culture. And so I'm very much aligned with her, where I feel so much better when I'm in a small group scenario versus a big, large corporation. But eventually, a lot of these small groups eventually do become large organizations. And it's kind of on the leadership and the people that are building these companies to make sure that it always still feels like that small, tight-knit startup culture. And that's really hard to do. But some of the best companies to work for and some of the best companies in America, they're able to figure it out. So if everybody could take a page out of the Google's playbook and companies like that, we'd all be better for it. Next week, I'm actually heading out to Destin, Florida for my father-in-law's birthday. And so it's the first time that I haven't been in Michigan or Arizona in a very long time. So I'm not sure how the podcast is going to work. I'll figure it out. But as I'm out there, I got to stay healthy and I got to stay distance. But for those of you watching, welcome to the Valley of the Sun.